Alright. Hopefully my phone will balance nicely. I started a flower on my leg. I just wanted to clarify for those of the individuals who possibly have been waiting for me to post something else on YouTube or are disappointed because I hadn't when I said I was going to. Fear not. Here I am posting something. I've just been in a very deep, fucked up depression for the past week, and I apologize for my absence, and I still want to share what I have to share and what I have to say. So, with that being said, I would like to talk on something today that's very important to me, and that is something that's been bothering me for quite some time, and that's family. I know a lot of different people. Really bad at picking at shit. Sorry. I know a lot of different people grow up in different households, different environments, different, living situations. Maybe it's not your family that you grew up with. Maybe it's, in my instance, I was adopted. I was adopted when I was 5 years old. My biological parents could not take care of my siblings and I because of some choices that they had made and decisions that they weren't going to be able to change because they were losing their kids over it. My family, my adoptive family, got my brother and I in a closed adoption. So I've never met my biological parents. I've never met my biological siblings other than my younger brother, and he was adopted with me into the home I was adopted into when I was 5. So he is my only blood known related sibling that I have contact with. But what's bothering me about family, and I think family is a very, very sensitive topic for a lot of people. And because some people get along with their families, some people don't. Some people it's just, wishy-washy. Some days are better than others. Some days are just like, fuck you, leave me alone. I'm gonna be in my damn room and stop, just fucking go away. And then I think I was like that majority of the time when I was a teenager. I'm 23 now. I have not lived at home for going on 4 years now. But I hated my family as a teenager. I fucking hated them. And I think that some teenagers do take their parents for granted. And that's my personal opinion. And again, all of these videos that I'm going to be posting are strictly my opinion. And if you don't agree with them, if you have different opinions, if you can relate in any whatever way, do leave a comment, please subscribe. But also, take into account that other people have different perceptions than you may or may not have. But I think as a teenager, I hated a lot of what was going on, especially the fact that I was adopted and that I knew I was different. I knew that I had, problems with mental health. I didn't know that it was mental health that I had problems with at the time, but, obviously as a young adult, I do know that now. But it's like, when I was, early teens to like late teens, I just despised the fact that, my parents never did anything right. They hate me. They don't like me. They prefer their own child over me. They prefer to spend time away from me. Or make all these excuses and stories of why I don't want to be around. And why my mental health was getting worse as it was declining as I was getting older as a teenager. And that's because I wasn't willing to accept that I played a big problem or a big part in a lot of the drama that went down as a teenager. Now I'm not taking all that blame to myself. And I can confidently say that I don't take all the blame to myself with a lot of the problems that happened to me as a kid and as a teenager, because my parents took part in some of those things too. They could have raised me differently. They could have, treated me differently as a teenager. I could have acted differently as a teenager. But things were said, things were done, you know, different situations were handled, you know, ways that I think could have been better, ways that they think may have been better. But what is and was said, or what's said and done is what's said and done, and it can't be changed. But with how I hated growing up, it's had a big impact on me being an adult. You know, I'm a young adult. I'm only 23 years old. March 13th. Pisces, gang. But how I felt about my family when I was younger has made a huge impact on how I feel about myself today. Because I feel, and this is like something that bothers me and just kills me to the core almost every single time that I think about it, anytime that's ever brought up, anytime that I think about like just anything relating to siblings, to sisters, to, you know, my mom. I hated how I was when I was a kid. And so I feel like for those teenagers out there right now who, you know, you live with your parents, they may or may not be trying, but you need to give it all of what you can in what you try and do until you can get to a place where you're able to move out on your own or, you know, work with your parents. I wish I could go back in time and say, Mom, I'm upset for this reason. Yeah, there's boy drama at school. Stuff like that. I wish I could talk to my mom. I wish I did talk to my mom as a teenager. I fucking hated talking to my mother. You know, I felt like, yeah, you've never been through this. You've never felt the way I feel. You've never been through the things that I've been through. And in reality, she was, you know, she'd been through and done pretty much anything and everything that I had already done in school. And granted, she was a much better student than I was, but so I feel like I'm rambling in a circle now, but I feel like, and I'm all over the place today in general. So, any thoughts or comments on anything that I just rambled about, go for it. But anyway, I'm Xavier Rye, and I'm gonna go eat some chocolate now.